Hey guys, what's up? Bob here. Welcome back to PICA. So, today we've got our match against the Toronto Tyrantrums, no longer coached by George. We had a coaching change. Actually, we've had a couple of things going on, so let's go ahead and talk about it. First off, the Toronto Tyrantrums coach, George, who won the last season, ended up leaving the league. Apparently, he's been either too busy or just not feeling it, blah, 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 blah. He is no longer part of the league. His team was taken over by Red Matt 80. If you don't remember Matt, he maintains the spreadsheet. He's one of the main analysts. And I played him in week 2 because he took over the, Jackson Jump Bluffs? Yeah. After p.i.c.a left and before Vec joined. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that this guy's a very competent battler. I think he did... What was it? During the regular season last season, he ended up having, I think, the second best record, or like tied for the second best record, and the second highest differential in the league, only behind George and the Toronto Tyrantrums, who had one game advantage over him. I think they were 10-2, 9-2, and Matt was 8-3. And their differential was only one apart. So, yeah, Matt was dominant last season. And, yeah, he's very good. And he's got a very good team this time. We beat him last time. We kind of got lucky. We didn't get haxed. But, yeah, if we had at all, we would have straight lost. And now he's actually got a good team behind him. So let's go ahead and look at that team. So, again, this was all picked by George when he was, coach and stuff, but Matt knows how to use everything. So he's got his franchise pick was Heracross, which was, I think, his MVP last season. Just like, it was a brutal attacker. You can run Banded, Scarfed, other set. I don't really know any other sets, but I'm sure there are some. So, yeah, it's a really, really nasty thing. It's Moxie Sweeper. Actually, Heracross was something I was going to pick if I could have, if he hadn't franchised it. It was going to be, like, my second round pick. I ended up going with Crocodile. But, yeah, I definitely would have gone with Heracross if I could have. So, very cool. Next up, Mega Scizor. Another bug type. He's got the whole double bug thing going on. So if you don't have enough bug resist, you can really get wrecked by this. Quad weak to fire, though. And Heracross is quad weak to flying. So, yeah. I don't know. Something to keep in mind. Next up, a fire type. He's got Victini. Now, Victini is another insane physical attacker. Now, that was kind of the thing with this team. He's got some of the best physical attackers in the game. Between Heracross, Mega Scizor, and Victini, he can really, like, if you don't have a good set of physical walls, you can really just absolutely get ruined by this. So, Victini sporting that massive 180 base power V-Create, and solid, 100 across the board base stats. It's kind of weak to Dark, but I didn't really have a ton of ways to take advantage of that. I know I have 2 Dark types, but neither of them really can beat him one-on-one. I guess Crocodile sorta can if I run, like, defensive, but whatever. Anyways, he's got a Mandibuzz, very, very potent wall, able to pretty much soak up attacks from anything. And it can be used either physically or specially defensively, so that's interesting. He's got a Porygon Z, very good special attacker, and that was the thing. He didn't want to be one-dimensional. He wanted to have some of the best special attackers in the league as well. So we went with the Porygon Z, which actually complements his team really well. He's got Slowking, very good special wall, able to pretty much eat up any special hits, and he's got Regenerator, so we can just switch out and gain like 30% of his HP back or whatever. So that's going to be really hard to kill. He's got a Tyrantrum. Now, Tyrantrum, not just the mascot of his team, it's actually a very good Pokemon in general. He can use it to set up rocks. He can, I don't know, what is it? Does it get Dragon Dance? I think it does. Rock and Dragon Stab actually work together really well. Obviously, they don't hit, Steel type super effectively, but he can run Earthquake, so, Anyways, it's just a pretty good Pokemon all around. It's not the best Pokemon ever, but it's not bad by any means. He's got Granbull, very good physically defensive guy. Fairy type, so that's nice. Passable attack and intimidate, very good ability. He's got Clefable, another fairy type. He actually picked Gramble and then Clefable in that order. I think he has, he picked Gramble because he wanted a fairy and wasn't really expecting Clefable to still be around afterwards, and it was, and he just, I guess didn't want anybody else to have it or something. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. He's got Luxray, not a very good Pokemon in my opinion. I've never seen a Luxray and been like, oh no, what am I gonna do? But I don't know. It depends on how he uses it, I suppose. If it has a good matchup against somebody, then obviously you'd want to bring it. I've got, I think, 3 guys that are immune to electric, so it's not going to be super amazing for him. But yeah, it's still an option. And then Registeel. And Registeel was actually another thing that I was kind of worried about. He's actually got the options here to run either a very good hyper offense team, a very good straight up wall team, or a balanced team, depending on what he wants to do. So that's really something I got to keep in mind. And yeah, it's just something that's could potentially be dangerous. But anyways, yeah. So things I'm most worried about, definitely Victini, although I wasn't actually sure he'd bring it, because I do have, Kingdra, the whole Politoed situation could potentially just ruin it, because if I get Rain Up, V-Create isn't going to be doing as much damage, and plus I resist it. He gets Bolt Strike and stuff, but it really doesn't do anything to, Thunderous, I don't know. And of course, even, I think Mega Venusaur can take him on. It doesn't, do amazingly, but it can survive Abandoned V-Create. So, I don't know. Anyways, Heracross, obviously, if it's Scarfed, it can potentially Moxie Sweep, and I don't want him to do that. I'd rather him not, if that's an option. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out what he brought. So, Matt ended up bringing the Heracross, Victini, Clefable, Slowking, Mandibuzz, and Porygon Z. So just looking over that right off the bat, Clefable's a threat, Heracross is a threat, Victini's a threat, Porygon Z is a threat, and Mandibuzz isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Basically, that's what I was looking at. Just checking things over. Heracross probably Scarfed. I usually run Scarfed Heracross if I'm running it. Victini, Banded, or Scarfed. Could be either. I was looking at Porygon Z, probably Specs, maybe, although it wasn't. Spoilers. But yeah, I was thinking maybe Specs, if he wants to go that route. The Victini was the biggest question, just looking at it, I didn't know what it would be. Clefable, I thought Calm Mind, just looking at it. Mandibuzz, physically defensive, and Slowking, specially defensive. That was kind of what I was assuming. But ended up being a little bit different than you would have assumed. So, for my team, I brought Slurpuff, Blaziken, Thundurus, Therian, Rotom Wash, Jirachi, and Mega Venusaur. So let me go ahead and talk about my sets. Let's see. Mega Venusaur is defensive, physically defensive, because I was worried about all his physical threats. And I wanted to have a way to check it. Jirachi. He had max speed, a little bit of attack, and a lot of HP and special defense. Or, well, a fair bit. The reason for that, I wanted to be able to use him as a Porygon Z check. Plus, I figured I could pass some wishes around, or not even pass them, just throw a wish up, potentially U-turn, potentially do some other stuff. Basically, I had him as something that was kind of could fill all roles. He was my rock setupper, and he had Iron Head. Rotom Wash, I had him with Thunder Wave rather than Will-O-Wisp, just because if he decided to bring a Banded Heracross with Guts, that could be an issue. Thunder Wave kind of neuters it, though, because it makes it so slow that it can't outspeed anything and just dies. Same for Victini. I didn't want to throw a Wisp at it and just have it do nothing. Thunder Wave cripples it, so that's nice. It's got Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, and Pain Split. All of them good attacks, I think. And then Blaziken was Agility. I really like that Agility Blaziken set. I think it can work wonders if you can use it right. So Agility, Flare Blitz, High Jump Kick, and Knockoff with Life Orb. I'm always a big fan of Life Orbs, so, you know, that's kind of thing. Slurpuff is standard Belly Drum. I think Belly Drum, Play Rough... Oh, I know. Belly Drum, Play Rough, Drain Punch, and Return. I opted not to run Sub, just because I don't really ever... I don't know if I can ever find a spot to kind of get one up for free. So, you know, whatever. And then we got Thundurus. Thundurus Therian with... he's actually Specs. So, yeah, I wanted to run a Specs Thundurus. And what was I running? I was running Volt Switch, Thunderbolt. I know I could run U-Turn, but I wanted to have that Specs Volt Switch. It actually ends up really helping. Well, I think it helped anyway. He's got, I think Focus Blast and Flash Cannon. And the reason I went with Flash Cannon over HP Ice, he didn't have anything that HP Ice would hit super effectively that Thunderbolt wouldn't hit neutrally. And I think Thunderbolt has more base power than a super effective, or than a 2x super effective HP Ice. And he had 2 fairies, and his, Tyrantrum, all of them weak to Steel. So, I don't know. It was one of those things that, whatever. I never used it. It didn't matter at all. But, yeah, anyway, that's the team. I think it's a decent matchup, just looking at it. I mean, Venusaur kind of kills Clefable. He can take on Heracross, not super well, but he can do it. Mandibuzz can't really do anything to him, even though it's I guess it can Brave Bird, but I don't think that does anything. And if I poison it, then that's nice. His Slowking is interesting. But I've got 2 electric types, so I was thinking I was solid, but you never know. Also, I've got Knockoff on Blaziken that does 89% or something. It's something crazy. The idea here, me looking at this, okay, I need to get a setup opportunity for Blaziken. Ideally, that would be throw some Thunder Waves around, get up rocks, and then while his Mandibuzz comes in to get rid of rocks, I set up an agility and Flare Blitz it to death, and then ideally, because hopefully it would have switched in and taken some damage, get up an agility, and then take out 2 or 3 of his guys with Flare Blitz and or High Jump Kick and or Knockoff, or at least cripple a bit of his team. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. Does it work? Let's find out. So, turn 1, Matt leads off with his Porygon. I lead with Rotom, because I always lead with Rotom. He throws a Tri-Attack my way, and it does 75% or something. I'm going to T-Wave him. Now here I should have Volt Switched, just to get a little chip damage in, but I end up just Hard Switching, which is definitely a mistake. And he predicts this really well and gives Dark Pulse. Now, I thought he was Scarfed, so this Dark Pulse, being able to switch moves, kind of threw a monkey wrench into those plans. Of course, he doesn't want to get hit with an Iron Head, so he just goes ahead and switches into his Slowking. I throw a Wish up because his wishes are handy, and now I'm just going to go Stealth Rock because I can do that. Unfortunately, he throws a Calm Mind up, and it's oh, well, what do I do about that? So I go ahead and U-turn on out. I think it does 16% or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go into Thundurus as he sets up another Calm Mind, and I was okay, maybe he'll switch, whatever. So I go Volt Switch, because I can Volt Switch on anything he brings. But yeah, he actually has the Wakan Berry, which lowers the base power of my Volt Switch. That's not good, because it only does 22% or something. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw a T-Wave at him. I figured if I could get a clutch full paralysis, that would be super amazing. And I'm going to Volt Switch here, and he actually gets fully paralyzed. I don't know what he went for, probably Psyshock, which probably would have killed. But yeah, Thundy comes in for free, and throws a T-Bolt his way, and he actually gets fully paralyzed again. My Thundurus is Specs, I think I mentioned that. So yeah, he has to sack something now. He opts not to sack, or not to let his Slowking die, and instead just lets the Porygon Z go. Now he can go into his Scarfer, but it kind of reveals to me what his Scarfer is, and it's the Heracross. He goes Stone Edge. This wouldn't have done much, but it's kind of salt in the wound here, as he misses the Stone Edge. And now I'm just going to go U-turn. I figured he would not stay in, just because he's locked into his Stone Edge. So I go U-turn, and actually, right here, I score a crit on this Mandibuzz, and now that doesn't seem like it would matter, being, Specs Thundurus, but apparently, I think, it would only have KO'd from 69% if it was a max damage roll, that is without the crit. But luckily for me, I do score that crit, and he misses his Mega Horn here. That's such a shame. And now I can Thunder Wave that. And I'm just going to Volt Switch on out. See, I learned from the last time. And I'm just going to go into Blaziken. I know he's locked into Mega Horn, and I quad resist that, but it still does a lot. Like, yeesh. Now here, I was thinking of going for the Flare Blitz, but I ended up just going for Knockoff. I figured that would be a safe option for a lot of different things. I'm not really sure what this Clefable was, but I just go for the Flare Blitz, and we crit that and kill it. I don't think that would have cared without the crit. I feel like that's kind of like the story of this match. Anyways, he can go into Victini and go for the V-Create. I'm not really sure. I guess maybe that was the only thing he felt comfortable getting locked into, because I'm pretty sure he's banded. But anyways, he has to switch out now because he's got that -1 speed. No, I don't know if he's Scarfed or not. That's kind of an issue. So right here, he goes into Victini. It's actually banded, but I didn't want to risk my Thundurus on that, gamble. So I just go into Jirachi, let it die to a V-Create, and then I can come back in. And I do outspeed it at -1 even if it's Scarfed. So now I can just throw a Thunderbolt his way. I'm so glad that Thundurus has base 101 speed. But anyway, yeah, Thunderbolt kills the Slowking. He brings in Victini again. I just decide to switch out. I end up sacking off Rotom Wash because it's kind of his job. I always just bring him in and sack him off and then win. But yeah, anyway, he's going to take those stat drops from the V-Create that he's using, and I can just come in with Thundurus and kill him after. So yeah, ended that with 5 kills on Thundurus. Probably didn't deserve them. Sometimes like Showdown just decides you don't get to win, and that's kind of what it did to Matt here. I feel really bad for him, but at the same time, I don't feel bad enough to apologize. Grr. No, I'm kidding. It's just one of those things, like RNG. It just happens sometimes. Anyways, guys, that's my match against RedMat80. Super cool guy, obviously, and he's gonna be in the actual tournament next season, which I think will be this summer. Hopefully, I'll be back, and we actually might see him again in the playoffs. Assuming he makes it, he might not. It's kind of he's very adamant he's going to be there, but you never know. But anyways, yeah. Hopefully, if we meet him in the playoffs, we can beat him. I've gotten really lucky against him twice, so, like, if he beats me, he deserves it. But that said, I will take a win. I needed it. So that ups us to, what? I think, 6 and 4, in, the 10 weeks. Which is really cool, honestly. Because that means that we will, no matter what, we will finish this season with a positive record. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out our next week's matchup. It is the Squib Malamars. It's Robotnik. It's like one of my favorite YouTubers, him and Gargleflop. Let's go ahead and check out his team. Okay, so basically Robotnik, he did not actually franchise anything. He was thinking about franchising Rotom Wash. I'm glad he didn't, because I snagged it. But anyways, he's got Mega Pidgeot, Sylveon, Ferrothorn, Machamp, Arcanine, Skuntank, Ludicolo, Diggersby, Gastrodon, Aggron, and Latias. Okay, so what do I see right there? He's got a really good mix of physical and special attackers, but his high tier guys are, I think, special attackers. Diggersby has been his MVP this season, so I got a plan for that. Gastrodon can wall my water types, as can Ludicolo, but neither of them really do well against Mega Venusaur. He actually doesn't have a ton that does well against Mega Venusaur, other than, like, I guess Diggersby and Latias. I think that's about it. I guess Skuntank. But anyways, yeah, obviously always a threat. Robotnik is, oh yeah, and Mega Pidgeot. But yeah, anyways, the dude's always a threat, and he's a fantastic YouTuber, so go check him out, and hopefully we can beat him next week. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Bye!